Ullo. The man celebrated his 74th birthday yesterday. You're still celebrating 74 years.
In fact, today is the day.
What was yesterday?
So I was telling one Mamiya and Big Brother do that. Anything I ask for, I have to get.
Okay.
It is my day.
Okay.
Okay.
So ask and get.
Ask and get.
Right. So what are you asking for first this morning?
From you?
No, what are you asking for this morning?
The ask is directed, it's not just asked in the air.
You didn't specify. Maybe when you ask.
So if I say Crosby,
yes.
Are you responding?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this way you have to get a genie, rob it, and let the genie come out. When the genie pops out, then you have 3 wishes. Sixtus, if you had 3 wishes for the week, what would you wish for?
For the week? The first one would be peace in Bawku.
Yeah.
Then the rest of it, I'll think about myself.
First will be peace in Bawku.
Yes.
And then
the rest of it.
The remaining 2 will be for you.
It is me.
If I had 3 wishes, I'll waste the first 2. And then 3 wishes for a genie. I'll waste the first 2, and the third one I'll tell you to do whatever I tell you to do for the rest of my life.
That is where you end up like the proverbial man who asked the genie to make him anything he touches
should we go
turn into gold. And within an hour, 1 hour, 60 minutes, he had to go back. He said that no, but this is not what I wanted. You asked for it.
Me, I waste the first 2. The second, the last one, I'll tell you that whatever I asked for going forward from now, you do it. I've asked that already. So, anyways, let's start with the Daily Gist newspaper. On the front page, Charlotte Osei ready for Supreme Court. The story is on page 3 of the paper. Sixtus surprised?
No. She's a lawyer.
Yes, she's a lawyer. Over 15 years.
Over 15 years.
That's one of the major requirements. There are people who say that she's not, quote unquote, been practicing law for all this while. So she may be a little rusty. That's what people think.
By practicing, they mean what? Going to court?
Yes, going to court.
Oh. There are a lot of lawyers who don't go to court.
But they are still lawyers.
And me, I don't intend to go to court.
You want to do it?
Oh, if you bring your matter, we would definitely deal with it.
But
without going to court.
It's not you who will go.
No. What I mean is, the law has very many faces.
Right.
A court room is just one of them.
Okay.
One of the very many faces of the law practice. And it's been proven that litigation is becoming more and more increasingly expensive, taking a lot of time. In fact, some have described it as a waste of time, that matters that you otherwise would have settled through arbitration or mediation, you end up in court and you take years upon years upon years to go through one case, wasting your money, your time, your other resources, and every other thing. So the practice of the law, I think we should begin to look at it from a different perspective rather than just the litigation that we are all aware of.
Right.
You say, he's a lawyer. If they say, oh, but this one, say, oh, your lawyer, Papa Bia, all they are saying is that he doesn't go to court. But indeed, some of the people, the lawyers who are not going to court, are the ones making the most impact. They are satisfying their clients, they are getting results, and they are getting rich without going to court.
I'm trying to find Article 1284 of the Constitution. You know, that is what talks about the qualifications to be a judge at the Supreme Court.
But where is the person getting this filler from?
You know.
Has the person quoted any source?
No.
Oh.
You know how people, read meanings into these, I don't know whether to call them appointment or nominations.
Her inclusion on the Constitution Review Commission?
Well,
committee. This one is a committee.
That she's part. That she's actively involved in all of that. But I mean, the person says that, okay, so I'm reading to you Article 1284, stipulates that a person is only eligible to be appointed as a justice of the Supreme Court if they possess high moral character, proven integrity, and have been practicing law for at least 15 years. And then she falls right into it. She qualifies, well, if not overqualified. So I don't know where the argument is coming from. And this is somebody who I understand owns a law firm, and the law firm has been working all this while. So the argument is that's falling ground.
So we can ask for interpretation of the phrase practicing law.
What it means.
What it means.
So this same person is saying that emphasis on high moral character and proven integrity. The person says that Charlotte Osei meet that record, or that description of high moral character and
the
a
person is
of
probably referencing her removal as EC boss.
As EC boss.
Yes.
Based on stated misconduct. Yes. So does that translate into high moral character?
No, it does not.
And integrity?
No, it does not. Stated misconduct would. Okay, maybe question of integrity, but stated misconduct is more of a moral, a moral descriptive. And we've been asking this question: what does it really mean?
Right.
When they say a person must be sane to contest the office of the member of parliament or the office of the president, what does it really mean? All those are things that we can.
Anyways, let's continue with the Daily Just newspaper. Adwosafu goes to town again.
Go through that story. Let's see at least the person's source.
Okay, so story is by Issa Olego. So he says, dismissed Electoral Commission Chairperson Charlotte Kessing-Smith Osei may be headed to Ghana's highest court as fresh reports confirm the Daily Just publication about a nomination to the Supreme Court by President John Dramani Mahama. Now, although the news is yet to be officially released, it has sparked renewed national debate, with observers citing a controversial past and speculating about the broader political motives behind the move. It says the speculation gained traction when Charlotte Osei, known for her commanding public persona, updated a Facebook profile photo posed in a lawyer suit with a wig. An act interpreted by many as a subtle signal ahead of a major public announcement. So while on the surface this might appear coincidental, insiders view it as a prelude to her anticipated re-entry into public office. This time as one of John Mahama's 5 proposed appointees to the Supreme Court bench. Charlotte Osei's public service trajectory has been both historic and turbulent. In 2015, she broke new ground as Ghana's first female chairperson of the Electoral Commission, having previously served as the chair of the National Commission for Civic Education. Now, prior to her EC appointment, she was also board member of the Ghana Commercial Bank with a background in corporate law and public service. Her nomination to the EC reportedly followed an earlier attempt by President Mahama to appoint her directly to the Supreme Court, which was allegedly rejected by the Judicial Council. Undeterred, John Mahama is said to have placed her at the helm of the Electoral Commission, a role that eventually drew public and political scrutiny. Her tenure at the East was marked by a centralized leadership style that drew both praise and criticism, putting her at loggerheads with her 2 deputies. I see. While she was commended for overseeing the 2016 elections, her methods, described by critics as autocratic, led to a deep rift with the deputies Sule Amadou and Georgina Opoku-Amankwa. These tensions culminated in a formal petition to the presidency, prompting the establishment of a constitutional committee to investigate procurement irregularities under her leadership. The committee, chaired by the then Supreme Court Justice Anthony Alfred Benin and comprising other justices including Samuel Mafusau and Agnes Doji, found her guilty of procurement breaches and recommended her dismissal. Former President Kufuor executed the removal in June 2018 under Article 146 of the Constitution. The 2 deputies were also dismissed. Now, there's a resurgence. Despite her ousting, Charlotte Osei has remained a visible figure in Ghana's legal and civic landscape. She was recently appointed to serve on the Constitutional Review Committee under John Dramani Mahama's new policy team, sparking talk of a political rehabilitation and a renewed push to restore her profile. I like the words the paper is using. A possible elevation to the Supreme Court now symbolizes more than a professional comeback. It hints at Mahama's determination to reshape key state institutions ahead of a potential return to power. Sources close to the Daily Gist indicate that Charlotte Osei's nomination is part of a broader list that includes Court of Appeal Justice Senyor Jamefe, legal scholar Dr. Abdul Basit Aziz Bamba, and 2 other unnamed individuals. Critics argue that the nomination of Osei, who has not actively practiced law for over 15 years, raises questions about the selection criteria and the motivations behind the appointment. Political opponents see it as an attempt to stack the court, and that's in quotes, with loyalists who could potentially be sympathetic to controversial legal interpretations, including debates around term limits and constitutional reforms ahead of the
I like that you are laughing. I don't know what is that opinion piece, a news story, an editorial? What is it?
Put all together. Issa Olego. Hey. I like the paragraph I just read. Charlie, an attempt to stack the court with loyalists who could potentially be sympathetic to controversial legal interpretations, including debates around term limits.
Mahama is trying to expand the presidential term limit,
please,
so that you run another term, a third term. Is that what this paper is suggesting?
Daily Gist.
You know, the current composition of the Supreme Court.
Yes.
I'm trying to be correct here. I think, save for 1 or 2, save for the former PNC man, the one who also has a petition against him.
The name is in our heads.
Yes, but it is not coming out.
Well, make your point.
I think apart from him and maybe another, the rest of the Supreme Court members were appointed by
former President Akufo-Addo. I see.
Can we, going by the paper's analysis, can we say that former President Akufo-Addo packed the courts with loyalists, his loyalists or MPP loyalists? I think that we need to start, moving away from certain analysis, unless and until we get some. Something real, something concrete to base those analysis on. Yes, President Mahama, even if he appoints Madam Charlotte Osei, will not just say, Madam, I like you. The first time I gave you a job, they removed you. Don't worry, I'm giving you another one. You go and start work at the Supreme Court. It doesn't work like that. It will go through a certain process designed to ensure that the people who are nominated are screened, and which process also includes a public vetting of the nominees. So I think that we have to begin to respect processes and say that, well, a nomination has been made, even if the nominee is a loyalist or sympathizer of the nominator. There is a certain check and balance that would ensure that this person is going into that office with merit, fully meriting the position that he has been nominated or she has been nominated to occupy.
Right.
So, let us be measured. That's what I'm trying to say. Let us be measured. Yes, there are times that we have to be suspicious. Naturally, we are built to be suspicious of processes. We are. But let us base those suspicions on something concrete. If there was one thing that people rose up in unison against, it was the fact that the removal of Charlotte Osei was seen as politically motivated.
Right.
I'm not the one saying it. We can go back and pull up the news stories surrounding the removal. And we can see the build-up.
Okay.
We can see the build-up to the removal. And so, yes, there were issues. And I was a reporter fully stationed at the Electoral Commission at her time. And so all the stories that led to her removal, I am very much aware of it.
And all the commentary that
came through. I was actively at the Electoral Commission as a journalist at the time.
Okay.
And so I am not oblivious of the story. And I know. Then the other question would be, following her removal, was there any attempt to go into the allegations that were leveled against her and picking the findings of the committee, running to court with the findings of that committee to say that I am innocent of these allegations or these charges upon which I have been removed from office? It could be another discussion that would come up. And so it's early days yet. This is somebody's scoop. Let's see how it rolls out.
Well, let's continue. Adwoa Safo goes to town again. You know, Sixtus, my member of parliament, Adwoa Safo, they say that she has gone to town again. This time alleging ritualistic activities. It says they took sand from my footprints and my pictures for rituals. But anytime they go to the place and they mention Adwoa Safo's name, then her father will appear there. So, in a surprising twist, Adwoa Safo credited her father, Apostle Kojo Safo, with being present during the incident, saying, "But my father was there." So, when you watch the video, I saw it on Facebook yesterday. I think it was a church setting, and then when he said when she wanted to contest the Dom Kwabinga seat for the first time, people took her to places. They mentioned her name. Her father, Lupion. So, yeah. Anyways, A+ hot. You know Kwame A+. The paper says that he's hot over National Service 1.5 million cedis bribe, NIB probes deal. The story is on page 3 of the Daily Gist newspaper. Minority takes on Yohunu over Bawku Militants recruitment. Minority takes on Yohunu over Bawku Militants recruitment.
Militant in quotes, I hope.
No, it's not in quotes. The story is on page 2 of the paper. And just by the side of that story, that story is on the left side of the paper. At the right side, Bawku Militants open fire on IGP. It's not funny.
It is not? Okay.
No, it's not the story.
No, but you listen to the press conference.
Yes.
The one addressed by our friend, the good Reverend, who is chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament.
Our own Reverend Intim.
Our own Reverend Intim.
MP for
I don't remember.
Ascent South?
No. East.
Something South.
One of them. One of the Ascents. Kennedy was where? North. No, Central.
Make your point, Sixtus.
You know, I was sad listening to the press conference. And I looked at the people who were addressing the press conference. And I kept asking myself some questions in my head. So it was the chairman of the committee, flanked by Annan Prez.
Yes, the whip.
And who else was there? The people who were in the front row with him. I'm not sure any of them has seen conflict. I mean, by conflict...
Maybe they have seen, but not experienced firsthand. I mean, when you...
That is what I mean.
Okay.
That is what I mean.
On what say fight is going on.
As for the tea, everybody has tea.
They have read, they have
everybody
passed there
has
sometime.
tea. If you are in Ghana here, you have tea about conflict.
You are not in the thick of it.
You have not experienced it.
Right.
And to think that we went to a press conference on over a conflict, and our posturing and just a quick break.
No, Ullo, we hear you. We hear you, Sixtus. Well, this is still the newspaper review segment, and the daily gist has made Sixtus of me. With the Daily Democrat newspaper on the front page, NLA staff demand end to KGL private lotto capture. The story is on the pages 2, 3, 4, and 7 of the Daily Democrat newspaper. There's also Mahama launches Feed Ghana for food security, and union petitions government, as well as citizens demand end to Esiakwa mining devastation. The IGP pushes for peace in Bawku, and teacher trainee allowance arrears fully disbursed. These are the stories that the Daily Democrat is reporting on its front page. You go to the New Publisher newspaper, no mercy for the poor. Electricity bills to go up by 14.75%. Water jams by 4.02%. The story is on page 3 of the paper. And this is something we'll be getting details in the course of the show. So you would want to stay with us, because let me read to you what the New Publisher is saying, how it puts the story. So it says users of electricity in Ghana are to pay bills that are 14.75% higher than the current rates government has announced. So if you buy electricity by whichever amount, by X amount, you are to note that now you are adding some 14.75% of that X amount, so that you'll be able to know how much you're paying for your next purchase of electricity. The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, in an official statement issued on Friday, April 11th, said the Commission has approved the increased tariffs of 14.75% for electricity, and further giving approval that water should also be increased by 4%. The new prices are to take effect from May 3, 2025, and are to cover all categories of consumers, whether rich or poor, domestic or commercial. So you know that for some time there are increases, but maybe that does not apply for lifeline consumers. That applies for people who are using it for, if you like, industrial purposes, amongst others. But this one, it says everybody is paying. The PRC explained in the statement signed by its Executive Secretary, Dr. Shafiq Suleiman, that the increased tariffs could have even been higher than the current 14.75%, but the Commission, being mindful of the current economic difficulties for Ghanaians, just some considerations to avoid going higher. So they're saying that the 14.75% that we will begin to pay effective May, it is even something the Commission was magnanimous to accept. Dr. Shafiq Suleiman explained further that the new tariffs were arrived at after the Commission concluded the regulatory process for the quarterly adjustment of electricity and water tariffs for the first and second quarters of 2025. Dr. Suleiman said the regulatory process is in line with the Commission's quarterly tariff review mechanism outlined in its rate-setting guidelines for quarterly adjustment of natural gas, electricity, and water tariffs. The statement explained that the quarterly tariff adjustment tracks and incorporates changes in 4 key variables, namely the CD-dollar exchange rate, inflation, electricity generation mix, and cost of fuel, mainly natural gas, in electricity tariffs. So there you have it. Electricity bills to go up by 14.75%, whereas that of water is also to be increased by 4%. They will take effect from May 3, 2025. If you didn't know, now you know. Let's take some more papers this morning. I'll take you to the Today newspaper. Mahama moves to boost food production as he launches Feed Ghana program. The story is on page 3 of the paper. And allow Asantehene resolve Bawku conflict. Otumfo Gold Coin Initiative backs politicians. The story is on page 2 of the Today newspaper. Academics not part of suspension of post-retirement contracts. Page 2 is having all the explanation. The Custodian newspaper, on the front page, Kusog residents chase out IGP. The story is on page 3. It comes to the picture of the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete Yohonu, and minority tax Mahama to end Bawku conflict. It comes to the pictures of Patricia Piejay, the deputy minority leader. There's also Mr. Mankwa Menu Kofi. There's Reverend Intim Forge addressing a news conference, and the minority chief whip, Frank Anodompre, all seated there. And Cleaning Ghana, creating jobs. The Zoom Lion story. The story is on page 2 of the Custodian newspaper. And finally from me, before we go for a quick break, the News Center newspaper, MTN Heroes of Change, Season 7 showcases Ghanaians transforming communities. Smartphone assembly holds golden promise for Ghana. That's according to the CEO of MTN. And Margins ID Group sweeps top honors at EFG Corporate Finance Awards. There's the big story banner headline: electricity 352% hike in 16 years. Fresh 14.75% hike takes effect from May 3. But for how long can consumers bear the pain? The story is on page 2 of the paper. And Feed Ghana launched to boost national food productivity. You go to page 3 of the paper. There's IGP assures neutrality and professionalism in the Bawku crisis. So these are the stories that the News Center is reporting this morning. We'll be getting into the details of all of this. Particularly pay attention to what the PURC is saying and what the impact will be on the ordinary Ghanaian. I'm talking about you and I, in our quest to have water, in our quest to have electricity running through our homes and to enjoy the benefits that they come with. Bearing in mind this new increase, what it means, what impact it is likely to have on us. Also, be touching base with our correspondents in the northern part of the country on what is happening there. The latest concerning the Bawku conflict, the latest shooting, a release from the police service has come. So we have all of this lined up for you this morning. So stay with us here on 3FM 92.7. We'll be getting into the details of all of that. You don't want to go away. But first, let's do this.